set up a really great profile. And I mean really great. Like for guys, I often say to them, think about if you're trying to sell your car on Done Deal for €5,000 more than it's worth.
Sorry,
okay?
That is the best advice. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
like they're just sat on its own. Oh my God.
I know, yeah. I'm like, when you put it relative, okay?
Yeah.
Because I know any lady that's looking at this, right? They're sick of looking at guys holding a fish, right? Like a dead fish. This is what I thought. It's like, that's all well and good, but we're not going to live on fish. And you better know how to cook that, because I'm not gutting it. So that's what the women are thinking when they see the dead fish.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Finnterviews. I'm your host Connor Finn, and this is a show where I get to chat to the most interesting people I know. You know the score by now, I know the score by now. And if you don't, go listen to past episodes. There's like 60 out there, and they're pretty fucking good if I say so myself. It is the Christmas special, guys. Woo, 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 woo. And what a show I have lined up for you. On the show this week, I sat down for a chat with the astonishing Mairead Loughman, Irish matchmaker and dating specialist. You guys have wanted something like this, and I fucking provided. We talked about Mairead's journey becoming Ireland's #1 matchmaker, the do's and don'ts, more importantly, of dating, selling yourself like a car on Tinder, and the outrageous stories Mairead has experienced from matchmaking the nation. Oh, guys, when I say what an episode, Mairead is just on top of her game. She is the best crack. I mean, I felt like I was just getting a one-on-one session with her, and I hope you guys get that as well, because there's a couple of home truths that are dropped in this episode. But without further ado, without spoiling too much for you, it's Christmas, I can't be spoiling this too much. Please enjoy this episode of Finnterviews with the wonderful Mairead Loughman. Well, welcome back to another episode of Finnterviews. On the show this week, I am thrilled to welcome on the wonderful, the glamorous, dare I say, Mairead Loughman. How's it going?
Great. Thank you for inviting me to be on your podcast. I just think it's such an honor when people invite you to be on your podcast.
I mean, us two big podcasters, yeah, it's nice when it kind of gets to be put in the other foot for a second and somebody else is saying, yeah, come on, let's have a chat.
I feel like the pressure's off a little bit, so I do, which is crazy, because years ago, like, you know, if I was doing interviews or podcasts, I was like, oh my God, whereas now I'm used to being on your side of things. So I'm like, well, it's up to him now, you know?
Yeah, you lose control. Yeah, I'm in the driver's seat now. God, I'm going to have to take proper care. Jesus. But I mean, Mairead, first and foremost, welcome onto the podcast. I'm so glad that you took the time out, because you are flat to the mat. If anybody is aware of your work.
Understatement, Connor. As an understatement, yeah.
Well, I suppose if anybody is not aware of your work and why you're so hectic, you're doing God's work really here. Maybe explain, give us a wee brief introduction to yourself. I suppose your background, what you're known for, Mairead.
So my name is Mairead Loughman. I'm a matchmaker, dating specialist, the founder of LoveHQ Matchmaking, and for the last year, a podcast host. My podcast is called Would Like to Meet. So if anybody is single and into podcasts, you have a listen. Exactly.
I mean, I mean, it speaks for itself. No, like, I always say that I reach out to, you know, some guests like here and there, and it's just with general kind of interest. But as soon as I kind of found your podcast, and again, kind of was seeing you dot up around there in media, as you're like, I have to speak to this woman. I mean, just if there's one thing in the world that my friends talk about constantly, it is every single day be like, oh, have a crush on this person, or oh, you know, like people are like trying to get back out dating. Obviously, like kind of post the big COVID. Yeah.
This year has been impossible. And like, in fairness, we thought it would come back to a normal state of being able to ask people out and everything. And it hasn't. It hasn't gotten back to that, you know? So dating for anybody that's single for the last 2 years, like, help us, you know, is really kind of, I get so many emails and just the tagline is just help me, you know?
Well, that's why you're on the show today, because we need some professional advice now. But I suppose before we kind of jump into that, Mairead, I mean, let's kind of get into, I suppose, how one becomes a matchmaker at LoveHQ and kind of is pairing people up. I mean, I know my mother would probably say that she's professional, but you are a literal professional. This is your business. Like, when did you first get into the whole matchmaking arena? Like, was it something that you already always gravitated towards, or?
Yeah, well, naturally, I've always been setting my friends up, and I tend to match people anyway. Like, if I'm out and about and say at a night out, and I think, or hear somebody is in hair and someone's in makeup or something like that, I'm like, oh, I must introduce the two of them, you know. And I'm just like, oh, they really get on well. Even as friends, they get on well.
Yeah.
But I started, you know, as a teenager, I would be setting up my friends. Then it turned out to every time I go to the hairdresser, you know, I had one particular hairdresser, she was single from time to time, and I'd be like, you know, come out on Saturday night, I've won the lads for you, you know, whatever. Then I went off traveling to Australia, and I met loads of great guys and girls when I was over there. And I was like, come down to Mullingar. I'm from Mullingar. So I was like, come down to Mullingar. I've loads of people down here. So naturally, I have been matching people. And when we'll say my friends and stuff started getting married, I ran out of them. I kind of thought to myself, maybe I'd like to do this a little bit more. Like, I'm quite a chatty and, you know, confident person is what I would say. And I just thought to myself, what must it be like for someone that's nervous, not confident, you know, or maybe has a little bit of trauma or whatever it is in their life that might be holding them back from dating. So I just said, right, here it goes. I, you know, decided I'd dip my toe in the water, but I kind of expected it to be a side business originally, if I'm honest. And very quickly I had to give up my full daytime. Like, I was managing a company, so I was with like 30, 40 staff in it over 2 different continents. And I'm like, okay, I have to go. I have another business here, you know. So it just exploded is the only way I can describe it.
Jesus. So it went from, as you said, you know, getting your mates match up together. Obviously, this is quite a natural thing that came to you. And obviously, there's clearly a market that was begging for someone like you to step in and say, look, we're out here desperately trying to find some kind of love. And you said, not a bother, I'll get you sorted.
Yeah, like, let's do it. Let's go. You know, so I started with the one-to-one matchmaking, and I realized very quickly that a lot of my clients were only single because they didn't get to meet new people outside their own social circle. So, and it's still always the same. You know, very often for a lot of my clients, all they need is the introduction. They just need this is John, this is Mary sort of thing, and they're off, you know, and it is very often just an introduction. But so I decided to set up these dating events called A Table for Six, where I sent 3 single ladies and 3 single men on group dinner dates. I launched that on a Friday evening of a May bank holiday weekend, like 4.5 years ago now. And on the Sunday of the bank holiday weekend, the Irish Independent rang me and they said, could I put a boost ad on Facebook? And, you know, €50, sure.
Yeah.
Somebody books over the weekend, you know, I have clients that might like to do it. The ticket sales started flying in. And on the Sunday, the Irish Independent contacted me and said, will you come on, will you do an interview with us, and we'll put you in the paper tomorrow, which is the Monday of the bank holiday weekend. And then on the Tuesday morning, I was on Ryan Tubridy's show for 3 minutes and 42 seconds. And about 10 minutes later, I had to take the phone number off the website, and I didn't put it back on for 6 months. It was that insane.
Jesus.
3 minutes and 42 seconds on Ryan Tubridy.
Freak.
Yeah.
You're sorted for the year. You're like, yeah, that's grand. No problem.
I was sorted for the last 5 years. Like, people are still like, I saw you. I heard you on Ryan Tubridy. I'm like, brilliant. So no, it was fantastic. It really was. And, you know, I tried, I got invited then onto lots of different things. So I was on Miriam McCallaghan's show on a Saturday night. I was on like 2FM. I was on lots of radio shows all over the country then as well. Yeah. So it did kind of escalate. So within 3 months of launching the dating event Table for Six, I had 8,000 people on the waiting list, which was just of a whole
mental.
I never would have imagined it. But realistically, my real passion is one-to-one matchmaking. And I think that's, you know, and I have gravitated back to that. And luckily I had gravitated back to that because with COVID last year, A Table for Six, obviously we had to put it on pause, and we're going to continually put it on pause until 2022. But that was when it really exploded. But it's one-to-one private matchmaking is what I specialize in, really.
Yeah, I suppose that's one of my main kind of questions as well, is obviously you're juggling so many people. Everybody is completely different personalities. Well, in terms of they have their own stories, they have their own backgrounds. People, I think, are obviously looking for specific things you find, or I suppose, how do you go about finding 2 people? Like, is it 2 people that reach out to you that maybe say, and you're working off your own database, or how far do you kind of spread this to find the right person for the right one?
First of all, I cover all Ireland, okay? I probably don't have as many clients in Northern Ireland, but I do cover all of Ireland. then I just people book a consultation with me. I meet them. I meet every single one of my clients in person. So even during lockdown, I did do Zoom meetings, but I still met with them in person in my office or in different locations around the country before arranging their date. So like during consultation, I get to know them, the type of person they'd like to meet, and then anything else that I feel might help me to match them. So, you know, some deal breaker questions would be like whether or not you'd like to have children. Like that's going to be a definite, whether you're going right or left. You know, that's a whole different category. Other questions then that can be deal breakers is smoking. I have very few clients that smoke, and I have very few clients that would like to meet smokers. So if you are a smoker and you're in the single world, I would nip that literally in the butt very quickly. So I would, you know, and really, you know, and don't lie about it. Because if you're out on a night out, you're, you know, like socially people are going to gravitate towards just be yourself. But like, if at all possible, it's not good for your health. It doesn't look good. And if you're single, a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah.
So things like that. Age obviously is a factor. Some people don't mind dating a little bit older, a little bit younger. Other people are quite, what would we say, quite stuck on age. Things then as well, like location. I cover people all over the country, like, you know, but people are only going to be willing to travel so far. So I have my office in Dublin on Merrion Square, and I meet all my clients. So it's bang in the centre of Dublin, basically. But I also meet people in Galway, Cork, Limerick, Kilkenny, and Mullingar. So in the last week, I have been in Limerick, Kilkenny, Cork, as in Cork and Tuesday night, Tuesday all day. I was in Mullingar all day yesterday, and like it's all the traveling that goes in between and all the matchmaking. I've arranged, about 36 dates already for this weekend. Sorry,
oh
little dog's popping up in the background. So it's busy, you know, but the feedback is good, and people, I never say, nor I never would even suggest that I have 100% success rate. Nobody can. If that was the case, I'd be richer than Jeff Bezos. Like if I had a little Amazon for people, it'd be fantastic, you know. But no, that's definitely not the case, because so much is in the background then with science and chemistry. But the fundamentals are there. We're looking at what type of person you'd like to meet, whether or not you want to have a family, what type of lifestyle. So if somebody's a lot more active a lifestyle, they're better off to date someone else that's active. If somebody works long hours, they need to be with someone that understands that they work long hours. So, you know, I would have a good gauge as to what type of people will work together.
Yeah. I suppose as well, as part of this, I mean, obviously you're dealing with so many demographics, but especially for, I suppose, people my age, you know, very early 20s, it's become such a big thing for people, you know, to try and meet people. It's always online. It's always, you know, I feel like we feel a little bit lost in our kind of way that we work around. Like I met so many friends that are just be like I'm on Tinder again or Hinge, or we're reliant on apps. And funny enough, when you're talking about smoking there as well, whenever you do go to nights out, I mean, I have friends that won't even touch a cigarette, but just for that kind of calmer sense, or where they can go away to chat, that kind of way. So I'm wondering, would you deal with a lot of, I suppose, younger clients in that kind of regard?
I think, and I actually feel very sad for people that are in their 20s dating. And the reason I feel like this is because if you think of it, Tinder and online dating, like Tinder is around for 10 years, but realistically, when it came socially acceptable in Ireland was only in the last 7 or 8 years. So like realistically, you don't know dating any other way really than an underage disco at this stage. I genuinely believe the worst thing that has happened to dating is online dating. Okay, now on the same breath as that, before everybody starts like going, oh my God, amazing, she's given me permission to delete my apps, I'm also going to say to you, that is the way people date now. Yeah. So it's like you saying to me, I just don't like sending text messages. I don't like, you know, social media, but I have my own business, whatever. Like, get with it, okay? It's kind of like anybody that would like to find a job telling me they don't like doing interviews.
Yeah.
You're not going to find a job, okay? So you can sit in your hands, or you can put in proper effort, and I mean proper effort, for 2 or 3 months, and then you will be where you want to be. Or you can go on one date for the next 7 or 8 months. You can talk to this person, talk to that person, and then actually never meet up with them, and still be none the wiser and none the better 7 or 8 months down the line, exhausted, and nothing will have happened. So if you're going to do it properly. So one, set up a really great profile, and I mean really great. Like for guys, I often say to them, think about if you're trying to sell your car on Done Deal for €5,000 more than it's worth.
Sorry,
okay?
that is the best advice. Like, honestly, like they're just that on its own. Oh my God.
I know, yeah. Like when you put it relative, okay?
Yeah.
Because I know any lady that's looking at this, right? They're sick of looking at guys holding a fish, right? Like a dead fish. This is what I caught. It's like, that's all well and good, but we're not going to live on fish. And you better know how to cook that, because I'm not gutting it. So that's what the women are thinking when they see the dead fish, okay?
Okay.
Second of all, then, if you have in your profile photograph a selfie in front of the urinal, if there's a urinal anywhere in your background, delete the picture now. Okay?
Is that a common one?
Oh my God. Yeah. Like, it's obviously, that's the only place they have full length mirrors in, like, men's bathrooms, you know? And especially if somebody's going to the toilet behind you, definitely delete. Okay.
Not
Actually,
ideal.
just delete the photograph completely from your phone. Next of all, then, I would say is a huge amount of guys. And actually, I'm recording a podcast this Monday with Louis Copeland, you know, the tailor in Dublin.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes. So I'm talking about what to wear on a date for men. Okay. And I have a lady as well, Yvonne from Y Style as well. She's going to be on the podcast. And actually, one of the things I'm going to say to her is, do you know the amount of guys that have tried on a suit in your shop to take a photograph for their online dating profile? Because so many guys go into shops, put on a suit, or maybe are shopping for a best man or a groomsman or something. Not groomsman. I hope they're not shopping for groomsman. They're not online dating. But shopping for a suit and take a selfie, and the tag is literally still hanging off them. You can see all the suits, and it's like, God, is this guy not able to afford a suit, or what's going on? So at least own the suit, or at least don't make it look like you're standing in a shop. So all those different things. So think about, okay, how are you going to sell yourself online? The best thing to do, as I said, is think about trying to sell a car on Done Deal for €5,000 more than it's worth. Okay, you're going to shine it up. You're going to take photographs from the right angles. You're going to probably bring it out to the lake. I did this recently, that's why. Bring it out to the lake and have a nice scenic route in the back. You're going to do nothing short than light candles in the car, okay, and set the table for a romantic, So this is what's going to happen. So it has to be the same for online dating. Next, what I would say is, if you have anything on your profile that's like, if you're not vaccinated, swipe left, I don't talk stupid, or something like this. You know, some people are putting up these kind of passive aggressive things, or it's like, don't text me unless you're going to say, start with a good thing. Start with a good chat up line or something. Take all the negativity away. We're happy people. We enjoy our life. We're positive. We're forward thinking. We're going to achieve the world. We're not going to be grumpy, on a Monday morning. We're going to be the person that's like, yay, it's Monday morning. Let's get out of bed. So, I'm not saying be fake, but I am saying be the very best version of yourself. Put up 4 or 5 photographs. If it's a group photograph, make sure it's not the very first one, because there's nothing worse than, like, if you're swiping through Tinder and you're thinking, like, oh my God, he's hot. And then you go on, you're like, oh, he's not the guy.
It was a friend.
The other guy. He was a friend. Yeah. So all of those things are really important when it comes to Tinder and everything. Also, I would say is start with a really nice message. Hey, love your profile. You seem like a very interesting person. Would love to chat sometime. Straight in with something like that. It's supposed to hi. Kind of separates a little bit from the rest, which is obviously important as well.
And Mairead, I know there's going to be a lot of guys out there that are, definitely this will probably be high on their priority list, as you're saying in the caption there. How important is it to indicate your actual height in the caption? 6 foot, if that matters. Yeah, it's always that, like, oh, apparently that matters kind of thing.
Yeah, well, what I will say to you is the only online dating should only be used as a way of meeting someone to actually meet in real life. Like, try and meet them within the first week. So if you're going to say, like, if you're 5'7", you're saying you're 6 foot, like, you're going to be meeting them in the next week if you're dating properly. And you should be kind of putting not pressure, but you should be like, come on, like, let's go and meet.
Yeah.
So what I would say is put your height if you want. If it's something that a lot of people have said to you before and kind of disappeared and everything, maybe put it in. Like, what they say is, I actually was listening to a podcast with a psychologist recently, and they were saying that guys lie about their height and women lie about their weight. So, what I would say is everybody should just be normal. But I will also say, for men and women, stop with the superficial bullshit. Like, height is superficial. there needs to be a certain level of attraction, but like we're dating in Ireland, okay? So if you were like looking at Instagram models and you're expecting to get like some hun from Brazil or something like that, that's all well and good if you're not living down Ballygo, wherever, down in the back end of whatever county of Ireland, there's one road in and one road out. So like, be realistic, or you're going to be single for a long time. There's amazing people out there, and people come in all shapes and sizes and heights and everything. So what I would say is just be realistic about yourself, and be comfortable in who you are. There's three main things that are going to be the difference between you being successful in dating and not successful in dating. One is your mindset. So if you're thinking to yourself, oh, you know, the girls that I want only want a tall guy. It's like somebody saying to you, you know, don't think about the yellow car, and the next thing you're going to see is the yellow car.
Yeah.
If that's all you're going to come across, okay? But if you think to yourself, okay, I'm a fantastic person, I could offer so much into a relationship, I'm going to be the most positive I can be, and like, let's go do this. And like, you know, I'm going to have a bit of an adventure. Realistically, I might have to date 15, 20 people to meet my person, but I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to have fun. And even if I don't like someone on a date, I'm going to enjoy myself. So that's a really good mindset to be going into with dating. Second of all, the most important thing when it comes to dating as well would be being completely comfortable with who you are, okay? Physically, mentally, your job, how much money you earn, everything like that. What I would say is, if there's something in your life that you would like to change, concentrate on that and change it, okay? So a lot of people have said they put up a bit of weight over COVID. You know, if it's that important to you that it's holding you back or slowing you down in any area of your life, concentrate on that area of your life first of all. But being completely comfortable in who you are. Now, I do have a podcast with Jerry Hussey. I'm sure a lot of your listeners know about him, performance coach. And we do talk about this and how important it is to be comfortable in yourself. A lot of people, when they're dating, I am saying be the best version of yourself, but a lot of people try and be something they're not.
Yeah.
Men can very often lie, so they can end up telling you they earn a lot more money than they are. They can say they're a lot taller than they are, as I said, with ladies with weight, all of these different things. But like, you shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
Why are you lying? You know, if you feel like you need to lie, why are you feeling you need to lie? Do you feel like you're inadequate? That's something to do with your own self-esteem than the person on the other side of it. And if somebody says to you how tall you're, like, is it really important? On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it? And like, straight away somebody like, oh, actually, you know what, it's not. So I would say is that. And third of all, have fun and be fun. That's the three most important things when you're starting out in your dating adventures.
I mean, geez, I feel like I can't believe I'm getting a one-to-one coach here. But Jenny, it's almost like stating like the really obvious things, but I feel like everybody is just kind of fumbling through, being like, everybody's aware of these situations, aware of like, okay, I need to be comfortable with myself, or I need to kind of be in the right area or right mindset to meet someone, like, and I want to go into this fully prepared that I am looking for a relationship. But I mean, it's not until you kind of break down into those little quarters and say, you know, maybe let's make sure that this is what you're actually looking for. Because I know on the flip side of this, I have a lot of friends that maybe have been serial daters since they were teenagers right up until their mid-20s, and they never seem to find the right person for them. Is there, I suppose, what would the advice kind of be, I suppose, for those kind of people? Would it be, again, to go like, right, maybe now isn't the time to date, maybe it's time to go back and focus on yourself for a little bit? Or, because a lot of times I feel like it's almost kind of a reliance on being like, oh, I've always been in a relationship, I need to be with somebody else. Or is that almost kind of part of the whole dating scheme, as you said, to be like going on plenty of them?
Yeah, if anybody really needs to be in a relationship and jumps from one to the next, I would be very cautious about how much they need to have somebody in their life. Like, I would say to them, are you not comfortable in being in your own company, in your own skin? Do you need to have somebody there? Is it a self-esteem issue? Is it a safety issue? You know, anything like that. I would also like to say, actually, for a lot of people that are your age, what happens, and I've seen a lot of this, is sometimes they can have a really intense relationship in their early 20s. So they might have dated someone from their 16 to 23 or 24. And they really think to themselves, I'm going to marry this person. This is going to be the person of my dreams. Very often when it doesn't work out, it's actually like a trauma. It's like they've lost a family member. It's like somebody has died in their life, or they've lost a part of themselves. And very often that person can end up being single for maybe 7, 8, 9 years and come to me in their 30s and maybe haven't been on a date in a while, or it's just not working out. So if there is anybody out there that has been in a long-term relationship and and is broken up with somebody, I would probably suggest they go and see a counselor and go and speak to somebody. And sometimes like, it was only kind of like puppy love or whatever. No, it's not. It's like a trauma in their life. It's like you're grieving this person and possibly grieving what you thought it was going to be. So if there is anyone out there, I would really recommend going to a counselor and talking that through and getting back out dating again. Okay, don't let it go over a year when you're in your 20s and your 30s of not going on dates. I also say you should be going on at least one date a month, which is really important. But Connor, will you remind me of your question there? Because I did want to say that a little bit. Oh, people that are serial daters or have been going on a lot of dates. Yes. That's it. So what I would say to those people is, why is it not sticking? The average person dates on average about 14, or is talking to about 14 people at a time online dating. So you're never going to be happy. Bar, honestly, that Brazilian model we were talking about lands in, What I'm going to say is, somebody, okay, say it's a guy and he wants to date a lady, okay, so we'll just talk about heterosexual for a moment. Like, there's one lady is going to be really thin and she's going to be a fabulous body. The next lady is going to be like blonde. The next lady is going to have beautiful dark hair. The next lady is going to have a really great personality. The next lady is going to have a rich daddy. I don't know why that matters, but some guys that appeals to them, and somebody's going to be funnier, skinnier, earns more money, whatever it is, okay? But nobody is going to tick every box. So you literally jump from one person to one person to one person, but their mind is somewhere else. So what I really say is, yes, we should be doing a little bit of dating, but we should sit down and decide, what type of person would I like to meet and why have I put these boundaries in place? Again, part of what I do in my podcast is I talk to experts and ask them, in their opinion. So I've had neuroscientists on, I've had life coaches, I've had psychotherapists, I've talked to counselors on how to date with people with mental health issues. We've had lots of different things. But one thing that's very, very clear is that people are unconsciously dating, which is, they're kind of dating people that's expected of them in society as opposed to dating them for them. So why do we go for someone that's taller? Now, there is a little bit of science behind it in that men like to date ladies that are a little bit smaller and ladies like to date guys that are a little bit taller. It's kind of like the protective thing, or like it's the same with age. Ladies like to date guys that are a little bit older and guys like to date ladies that are a little bit younger. Now, it's not always the case, but it tends to be. So I really think that a lot of people should sit down and think, what type of person am I looking for? And even if you want to use like an online dating site as a guide, age, hair color, religion, all those things, what's important, what's not important, and then also asking yourself, but why do I want a blonde hair lady? Like, why do I want a brown hair lady? So consciously deciding about the type of person you would like to date and also why. It might stop a lot of that repetitive going on 15 dates in a year and still not getting anything on the back of it.
I suppose, that's the best. Again, I mean, this is like just killer advice for like, I feel like the amount of conversations I've had, especially over the last year, for even friends that have just went from one relationship, or maybe somebody was like, I just can't find anybody, I'm just not able to go out there, or the people that I am matching with, say in these apps, it just isn't clicking whenever I meet them in real life. And I suppose it's analysing what's the target here, what's the end goal, what you're looking from it. Like, it's constantly asking why about these situations that you're being, why am I going on all these dates, or maybe why am I being so picky about certain things? It's literally just analysing your own kind of self and going, okay, well, I also have a part to play in this. It's not always the person that I'm going on dates with that, could always be like, the issue.
I will tell you, it's usually, if things are not working out, if you're single and you don't want to be single, the problem is with you. If you are going on dates and you don't like any of the people you're going on dates with, the problem is you. Very often, people come back to me then as well, and they say to me, we got on really well on the date. I don't know why he doesn't want to meet me again, or I just don't know why she doesn't want to meet me again. It's when I hear both sides of the stories. When I ask them, why do you not want to meet with that other person again? I believe you got on really well on the date. Or they might even say to me, we got on so well on the date, but I don't want to meet them again. And when I ask them why, it's normally nothing to do with the other person. It's actually normally something to do with themselves. Like, the most random stuff. But things like, he looked quite like my dad when he smiles. What else?
Lovely.
There's been the craziest stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not over my ex, obviously, is a normal enough one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would like to be with someone 45 minutes away. I tried to as well set up a lady in Waterford, and she said, but I just don't like anybody from Wexford. I was like, okay. And is there a particular reason? No, I just don't like people from Wexford. And I was like, okay, well, would we find that? Because he literally takes every other single box, like, has strong potential, he's pretty hot. Are you sure you don't want to meet this guy? Yeah. So it's normally nothing to do with, when somebody doesn't want to meet you, it's normally nothing to do with you. We need to really consciously think about, what do I want? Why do I want that? What blocks am I putting in place? I also say you should be going on at least one date a month. I would sing this every single day. You're not actively dating. So if you say you're exhausted from dating and you've only been on 2 dates this year, you're not dating.
Yeah.
You're tipping away. I could say a ruder word. You're pricking around, basically. You're not actually, doing anything. It's like, honest to God, if you lost your job in the morning and you need a new job within the next 3 months, you're going to be like, okay, blast it out. Like if you have a holiday booked, say you're going to, COVID is gone, you're going to New York with the guys in February and you lose your job today. Don't tell me you're not going to have another job by Christmas. You are going to have a job, and you're going to be like, and do you know what? I'm going to level up here now because I need extra money for that trip to whatever, Vegas, New York, whatever it is. Okay. Same with dating. If you then said to your mates, I'm going to have to cancel it because, I'm flat out applying for jobs here. How many have you applied for? Like 1, but I haven't heard back from them yet, and I don't know if they want to me to come for an interview or whatever. You are going to, honestly, there's going to be 20 jobs applied for that week, that day.
It's the best way to put it is just think of it in a context that makes sense for you, where it's been like, right, do you know what, it's dating, it's nothing else, different from whatever else, as you said, with a job or a holiday. It's literally just dating, and you need to treat it the same way if you're serious about it.
Get on it. Yeah,
get on it. Yeah, Jesus,
but have fun.
Yeah, most importantly, oh my God, Mairead, of course.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I suppose like, you have been doing this for a while now. I mean, you have seen the madness, the goodness, everything around the sun, I imagine. Have there been any major standout moments that kind of came from this life in the industry as a matchmaker that I suppose you never imagined could have happened?
Like, I honestly didn't think that this would have been a full business. If I'm honest, I worked as a financial advisor for 7 years. I used to advise doctors on their personal and business finance, like pensions, investments. You don't get like less exciting than that, and then I was managing a company with, as I said, 30-40 people working in it, and I decided I wanted to do this part-time. And I remember being at my friend's hen party, which I had organized. I was the bridesmaid at it, and I was speaking to 2 girls on it, and I kind of said to them at that stage, I think I'm going to setting up a dating agency, like, because I think it's really wanted in Ireland. And at the time I was single, and I was like, I think I'm going to set up a dating agency. And the 2 of them, both successful in business, turned to me and were like, really, Mairead? Like, you have a pretty good job there, like you're managing an entire company. You're comfortable. Like, I wouldn't be giving up that for anything. And I said, no, I really think there's good business in it. I said, I think it's really needed, and I don't think, it's being done properly, is what I actually said. Since that, one of those ladies is now my solicitor. So there we go. And the other lady has sent at least 3 friends to me.
Oh my God. Well then, sure.
So if you look at it, and like, they're the ones that if I put something on Instagram, they're like liking. One girl shared something that I had recently, and she's like, this is my friend Mairead. I was something, I don't know, I was on media for something. She's like, this is my friend Mairead and everything. And all her mates were saying, oh, wait a second. Are you leaving your husband? She's like, no, it's my friend Mairead. So, they're very supportive, but at the same time, people had said, don't do it. So that was definitely it. Also as well, like, I never thought that I'd have my own podcast. I was #1 in the podcast charts for relationships last Christmas, and hope to do it again this year. But like, had COVID not come, I wouldn't have had time to develop that stuff. I last year got with my office now on Marion Square in Dublin, like a dream to have, and the office is amazing. To be working out of that office is so lovely. I'm working on a book at the moment.
Oh, for Jesus.
But the best part, and I would tell you the very best part of what I do is the babies. Okay. So like, I know we're talking about dating and Tinder dates, and it might be a little bit further down the line, but I have honestly, this month alone, actually today was just like, now it's not, but like last month, I had a couple ring me that I just hadn't spoken to in 8, 9, well, probably about 11, 12 months. I'd set them up at the beginning of the pandemic, and he contacted me and he said like, "Hi Mairead, have you any like nice ladies in your books?" And I was like, "No, don't tell me you broke up." And he was like, "No, we had twins." And I was like, "Sorry, what? I didn't even know you were pregnant, So they had twins, and another couple last week have just had their second baby.
Oh my God.
Since I've introduced them, and I only introduced them 3 years ago. They're engaged. So what I would say is, like, I have so many couples that are getting married, having babies, also moving in together. I get the loveliest messages and photographs of people that have just met their other half's family. That's the best part. And that's bigger than any other reward, is that feeling like I'm often sitting here at my desk and like you get a photograph of a baby and it's like, meet whoever, and honestly, every time, without fail, I always cry.
Stop it. Well, I mean, always, what else are you supposed to
crying. I know, but it's just I'm honored to be a part of so many people's love story, their life story. Like I would consider so many clients my friends on the back of this. I end up going to like weddings, but anonymously being down the back, and everyone's like, "What do you do for living?" I work in events. You wouldn't be here today without me, but I work in events, and I'm very happy for it to be kept a secret. Very happy, because a lot of people don't like to say how they met.
I was going to say, you must get a lot of invites to like the likes of weddings, christenings. Yeah, everybody's just being like, "Well, how'd you meet?" Our friend Mairead, it's just it's funny. It's mad that, grand.
Also, as well, on Saturday night, if I'm heading out in Dublin, I am often like literally land in Dublin or going somewhere, and the girls are like, "Will we go to this bar?" And I'm like, "No, we can't go there." And they're like, "Why?" And I'm like, "I may have 2 people going on a date there now at 7:00." And it's only ever happened once, because I'm really conscious of this, because I could have like 80 people out on a date on any given weekend all around Ireland. Like, I mean, the most like westerly tip of Cork to like the northern point of Donegal and all throughout Dublin. It's only ever happened to me once that I was out with my friend in Nace, and next thing she said, "Come on, we'll go into this bar." And I said, "Yeah, fine." And I walked into the bar, and like there's the couple like literally standing at the bar, and I just went back out the door, and she was like, I was ringing her going, "Come out," but actually the guy came out and was like, "You don't need to leave." And I said, "Oh my God, I didn't know you were going to be here. Like, I sent you to a different bar because this is the bar I always go to when I'm in Nace with my friend." And so it was great. I just sent them over drinks, and they had a great night, and they were dating for a while afterwards, which was great as well. So it was just funny,
Yeah, you just have to keep your tabs where we're going to go.
But like, honestly, on a Saturday night, I'm like, I'm breaking my code, because I'm like, where can I go tonight? Okay, can't go there,
Yeah, I suppose, I mean, all amazing things that have came from this. I suppose it sounds kind of silly to even ask, but like, have there been any horror stories kind of that have came from such I mean, it seems like you're just so ecstatic and excited and, have such a path for it. Is there any downside to being that person, like, in people's lives?
Do you know what? There hasn't been any downsides. I suppose that's why people come to me, so there isn't a downside. Like, everybody that comes to me has fun. Now, it's very important that I manage people's expectations. And sometimes, regardless of how much I manage their expectations, like, you're getting messages from them going, "Oh my God, I'm so excited to meet my husband." And you're like, "Remember, we talked about, I don't have 100% success rate. I'm only going to send you out on dates with people that I think are suitable. You still have to date them. So if you're like jumping on them going, 'Oh my God, you're my husband,' on the first date, probably not going to work out." So it's like, calm yourself. Just managing people's expectations. People can be then as well. I suppose the worst part is when you have a couple that you really think are going to work well, and it doesn't, but for something stupid. Like, sometimes it can be so stupid. Like,
from Wexford.
They're from Wexford, or his mum, whatever, his mum is always in the house, and like, or something silly like that. It's a conversation, it's communication breakdown. Just silly things like that they really should work, and it doesn't. It's very frustrating. That's probably the most horror story. Now look, as much as I get really fabulous people, I get all sorts of people. Like, let's face it, like, if you work in Centra, you're going to meet all sorts of clients. I meet all sorts of clients as well. I would love to say they're all fantastic and all amazing, but like, I do get the broad spectrum of people. I'm kindly going to say some people are single for a reason. I will give them advice where I can, but there's, you know, sometimes there needs to be a little bit of tweaking done. I can't take on everybody unless they're going to, you know, if I feel they need to follow my advice and they're not going to, I can't. Some people come to me and they're like, can you just put me straight into 3 months into a relationship? And I'm like, no, you have to date. And also the dating part is the best part. And they're like, well, I hate that part. And it's like, well, then stay single. You know, you have to.
I love it. This is so cutthroat. You're being like,
well, like, but I have to manage people's expectations. I'm not going to say to them, right, okay, so next door to my office is a wedding dress shop. You go in and pick that out. You know, like, it's ridiculous. We're talking about real people, real life. And when people start getting a little bit too ahead of themselves, I have to say to them, okay, calm down, you know?
Yeah, and I suppose, like, have there been any, like, major names or, like, because I know that you've mentioned in the podcast as well that obviously people are sometimes very busy. Sometimes, you know, it's people that are like, you know, high profile clients. Has there been any ones that you have can personally take, you know, ownership for? Be like, I mean, Vogue, you're welcome. Oh, we're not allowed to say.
No, of course not.
Oh, come on, Mairead.
No, my matchmaking service is 100% confidential, and that's why it works, is it is. But I remember actually a while back, I was speaking to like a proper, like, high up detective. He was actually in GSOC, actually. He works for GSOC basically, with the Gardaí, right? And I remember being at something, I was chatting away to him, and he was like, what do you do for a living? And I was like, I'm a professional matchmaker. And he's like, oh my God, that must be really fascinating. And I was like, it is, it's really fascinating. And he said to me, we're chatting away over and back. And he said, like, what sort of clients get? And I said, I'm not going to tell you. He goes, but you're like, look at the job I'm doing. Of course you can tell me, like, data. And I was like, no, data protection, confidentiality, definitely not happening. And I said, but I could tell you this, I could probably bring down this country faster than COVID if somebody got their hands on my phone. And he burst out laughing, you know. But honestly, this is it. This is the magic phone, holds all the secrets. So it does, you know, the little black phone. I don't have a little black book, I have a little black phone. And honestly, that has a lot of secrets. I should probably change it every 6 months and destroy it, you know?
Yeah. Get a burner or something like that.
Exactly.
That could be dangerous in the wrong hands. Exactly.
That's it. But no, I will say to you, I have lots of people on TV, radio, some sports stars, a lot of like professions then as well that would need to be, like, a lot of solicitors and barristers and stuff that they really couldn't have their face online, you know, just because of high profile court cases, like medical professionals, dentists, you name it. And then I have teachers, farmers, like there is anybody is welcome here. And it doesn't matter what background they're coming from, gay or straight, what age they are, what part of Ireland they're in, how much experience they have. Some people have had very little dating experience. Some people have been married 3 times. It doesn't matter. It's completely safe and open environment. And I know we've talked today and it's quite cutthroat and everything. I'm very empathetic to people and their story. That's why I do what I do. But I am also realistic, okay? Yeah. So that if they come to me to say, I want to meet somebody for dating, and I'm thinking to myself, you're very negative or you're very mopey or something, I'm going to say to them, you need to smile more, you need to turn up your energy, you know, this is the things that are going to work for you. Like, I will help them on their journey. I'm not going to be rude to them, but I am going to be kindly straight with them, is what I would say, because they have come to me. I might be the only person that's able to change their life, because they might give up after talking to me. So I take the time with them.
Absolutely. And I suppose I'm so conscious, just of the time and the fact that you are flat to the mat. My God, just matchmaking Ireland. But I suppose, Mairead, like, what does the future hold for yourself? I mean, when's the TV show coming out? That's what I want to know. Is there any big things?
Just before lockdown, I did a pilot for RT, but it didn't go ahead because of COVID. So look, I don't know if TV is the way to go for me. I kind of like to keep under the radar. I know I have my own podcast, and actually, I even thinking about it last week. I recorded a podcast for sexologists last week, and I'm really thinking to myself, I must edit that, and I must edit that. I was way too comfortable during that conversation, if I'm honest. So there needs to be a little bit to take it out, you know. But what I would say is, look, I really want to continue with my podcast. If anybody ever wants to sponsor it, that's fine. I'm sure you wouldn't mind a bit of sponsorship yourself, Connor.
Oh, absolutely.
No, look, last year was huge. Getting an office in Dublin and launch my own podcast and getting to #1 was just absolutely fantastic. I think in the next year, definitely a book. I have it all planned out. I just need to have a little bit of time to do it. I kind of like just maybe bring back 1 or 2 weeks of lockdown. We could sort that out, you know. But I definitely as well, I have new dating events that I really want to launch. I wanted to launch them last year. I'm hoping as well to launch bigger into Northern Ireland, if I'm honest, and potentially London. I think there's a huge amount of Irish living over there, and it would be aimed at the Irish market. People that either work a lot over there or that would like to move home. So the world's your oyster. But in saying that, like when I get an idea in my head, we've got a 48-hour turnaround and let's launch, you know, so anything can happen.
Jesus. Well, yeah. Mairead, it has been an absolute pleasure. I mean, I've no doubt that everything's just going to go up and up with this. It sounds like you've already had a fucking whirlwind already. But like, just thank you so much for taking the time out of your ridiculous schedule. I don't even know where you're jetting off to next. And yeah, sitting down for me and having a wee chat. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. I love chatting with you, and I wish you the very best for your podcast as well.
And here, Mairead, if people are enthralled with this chat today and they want to find you, where can they find you? All your bits and pieces, give you a follow. Like, where can they get? How do they get into that little black phone? Yeah,
that's it. So LoveHQ.ie. I normally start the consultation. They can go from there. But if anybody just is looking for general dating advice, follow me on Instagram, LoveHQ.ie. Like in my stories every week, I have questions. You can ask me directly. And a lot of people say it, you know, even if it's not relevant for them now, they get into the right mindset for dating, that they're like, you know, I'm not putting up with bullshit or whatever. So follow me there on Instagram and then listen to my podcast as well. You know, it's called Would Like to Meet. It's on all platforms. But if you go onto my website at LoveHQ, you'll see there's a whole link to my podcast there as well.
And that's where you can keep up to everything. Mairead, LoveHQ, and find the love of your life. I mean, God, that's all I need to do. I feel like after this, I'm ready to go out and take the world by storm now. My God.
I think we need to put out a little bit of plug. Is there anybody there that is listening to this podcast that would like to date Conor?
Yeah, you know? Well, yeah, just I encourage them every week, Mairead. They just
that's it. Yeah. Well, if you're a little bit shy about coming forward, give me a shout and we'll put you in touch.
I love it. I mean, Jesus, that's
one
for all. Well, here, Mairead, have yourself a lovely evening and thanks so much. I wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you so much, Conor. Thank you.
See you later. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Finnterviews. Please remember to support the podcast by giving us a like, comment, share, subscribe, and a 5-star rating on whatever listen platform you are on. Honestly, all of that stuff genuinely does help. And you can also support us by giving me a follow on socials. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all of them. Can't remember. Just type in Finnterviews podcast or Finnterviews pod online and you shall find me, and you can follow me and give me some boost if you really want to, or alternatively tell me how great I am. I take both. Until next time, guys, have yourself a merry little Christmas and I'll chat to you later. Bye.